All right, so tonight we're going to start with elevated legs. Okay, so this is one of the most classic starts in restorative yoga. It's just to basically bring your legs above your body, and there's many ways to do that. The version I mentioned is this. Now you could put your legs up on the couch. Okay, you could put your some people like to kind of do something like this, where we tie a strap around our feet and it kind of holds them together so you can relax more. You see how I wrapped it around my feet so they don't slide apart. Some people like to do it like this as well, but I do need it somewhere where you can relax, okay? An easier version is something like this. So remember, your legs are below. The idea is that your legs are below you all day, and the blood is trying to get back up the legs. So just even something like this is good. If legs up the wall is too much. Now with the arms, you could go wide or even like back a little. So we open the underarms. There's a big lymphatic density there. And I'm just gonna have us, tune into our body here. Nothing too intense to start practice. Just kind of get comfortable. You notice I'm just fidgeting a little in my hips. Remember, the goal is to be comfortable, guys. So if you're uncomfortable, try to find a way to adjust. A bigger variation is legs up the wall. So our biggest variation would be legs up the wall with bolster underneath our sacrum. So in that way, your pelvis is also elevated above the heart. Now, I'm just showing you from this angle so you can see, but ideally the legs would be resting on the wall, okay? So just a few breaths here, guys. Usually they say for a beginner about 2 to 3 minutes. For an intermediate, 5 to 10. And for an advanced, about 15 to 30. We won't go 30 minutes, half the class here, and I want you to notice, yogis, like all that blood flow going down into the legs, all the weight and the pressure, the demand on the legs all day. Now we take it off and we let the legs drain. We let them relax. So let's just take another, few moments here, maybe starting a little breath work. A slow, deep inhale in your nose. Slow, deep exhale. Remember that breathing is one of our main restorative practices, but also just practices in general in the physical body. When we're in class, we're trying to take that breath to deeper realms, slower, and more controlled. So just relax here to start practice. Notice if you're tensing anywhere, try to relax your face, maybe your arms a little bit more, your abdomen. If this is ever too much, you can just lay on your back to start practice. In the ancient Ayurveda practice, the healers and the doctors in Ayurveda, which means life science, anytime you have pain in your foot, toes, ankles, knees, thighs, hamstrings, you put the legs up 2-3 times a day. And you really can help reduce a lot of pain, swelling, any like fluid buildup
stagnation. When I was in track and field in college, after we'd do our sprint practice, we'd always end practice putting those legs up, and we put a lot of demand on the legs. Now, for every person, it's different, right? You go until you feel some discomfort, really, and then you hold a little bit longer if you can. It just takes some time to get used to. We used to hold them in college for like 15 minutes till it like hurt a lot. Not, maybe depending on how much you're working your legs or you're going really long walks, if they ache, you hold a little longer. Sometimes I wiggle my toes and ankles here in the end just to get a little bit of more freedom. But again, that's already 5 minutes. So, that's a pretty good place to start. Whenever you're done there, what we do is just slide our feet down the wall. You can kind of roll to the side.
And you want to slowly make your way up. Let's just do a short movement here. So we're going to meet in tabletop here, guys. Okay? And the goal is to kind of bring your legs below your heart now, right? To kind of get that contrast. And just to move a little bit. On the inhale, no better place to do it is the cat-cow, arch the back. Great for rejuvenating the spinal column around and tuck the chin. Inhale, arch the back. Exhale, round. Usually suggested to take cat-cow a little softer in restorative yoga, as opposed to when we're doing it in like a power yoga class. So a different approach. Okay, our next, you're more than welcome to do this, little circling, just some type of subtle movement there. In restorative yoga, a lot of times we're not doing a lot of movement. We're kind of just going from position to position, trying to remain quite relaxed the whole practice. Supported child pose is next. Really good for pinching our colon, stretching our ankles. If you don't have bolsters, pillows work, and you don't even really need one. Some of us are okay without it. So second posture hold is child pose, okay? Really good for calming your nervous system. Now the knees bend and the front of the head goes low. In the first position, the back of your head was like the low point, blood flow increasing there. And then now the head is a little bit lower. Just notice I do widen my knees, I slide the bolster under me. I got my head turned to the side. Just try to get comfortable here, yogis. Close your eyes. Let's hold for a good 3 minutes or so. Use this opportunity to meditate. And what does that mean, right? It means just kind of centering in a place, being nice and calm and grounded, closing your eyes, becoming present with yourself, a little bit more internally aware, slowing down the mind and body. Try to get more comfortable. See if you can fidget a little. The bolster is underneath my abdomen as well. What we're trying to induce here, yogis, is conscious relaxation, this idea of alpha brain. It's a certain brain state where a lot of the chemical processes, messengers of the body, there's all this kind of cascading in the RNAs. The RNAs are like the messengers, let's say from the DNA to the proteins, and you have reverse RNA as well, protein to DNA. You have the transfer RNAs, you have the messenger RNAs. All these communications are happening between different parts of the cells and the energy producers, the mitochondria. And when we go into alpha brain, you have to be very relaxed. Think about the space like you're not asleep, but you're almost there, but you're still awake.
that's alpha brain. You know, your mind's not too busy. Uh, you're feeling like very lazy and it's good. That's what we're trying to attain in these forms. It's a subtle and difficult particular practice. Uh, if your head is turned to one side, you got about 1 minute left. Make sure you go to the other. And it's okay. Something is coming out. I understand sometimes the hip flexors. Something I didn't mention was rolling up a blanket, putting it kind of up between your thighs and your abdomen, create a little space in your hip flexors. We will do that variation one night, but that's always an option if your hip flexors irritate. Remember to breathe here too. That can really help our body relax and cleanse. And I mentioned those mitochondria, right? Those are the little energy generators in each cell. You know, some cells have up to 100,000 mitochondria. These are these little organelles, these specialized pieces of the cell that create energy. And they use oxygen to, let's just keep it simple, to break down your food to produce cellular energy. You know, that's like, you know, the modern medicine is really looking at like, how can we optimize the function of the mitochondria? Um, and they use oxygen yogis as that primary driving force to create cellular ATP, right? Uh, Breathing, man, can really change your energy and your how you feel. Okay. All right, guys. So that's a pretty good hold there. Now, those are two forward bends. So we had straight leg on our back, bent knee and forward fold. So you can see the little system building. So you take a little movement side to side. Now what? The back bend, okay? So in restorative yoga, we have these kind of fundamental postures, or in any type of yoga where we do spinal extension. Bolster, easy version. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a block. If you don't have a block, you can use a pillow. This posture is very difficult to do without a prop, okay? Now, the bolster is about 1 inch from my back, and I go here, okay? So you notice my head is on the bolster. I'm getting this arching through my upper body. Now, you have the option of doing like soles of the feet together, knees open. That's gonna make this a lot more intense. So, you know, I will offer that stuff, but if you're always doing the more intense versions, you know, parasympathetic alpha is stronger than stretching. So, you know, that's how it is sometimes. That subtle is really powerful right in front of us, but we're always trying to look for more. If you want more, though, in the upper part, there's the different variation where the bolster's horizontal to your spine or perpendicular as opposed to parallel. So I'm here. You see how the bolster now is creating even more arch in my back? My hips are on the floor. My head is on the floor. I can still do the leg up deal here, but I do want you to try to hang for a good 3 to 5 minutes. Make sure you're comfortable, right? Here's where we really start abdominal breathing, one of our greatest parasympathetic things where we stimulate the vagus nerve. We've talked about that, this nerve that runs right up to the parasympathetic brain that connects to our digestive tract. So as I inhale, I feel my abdominal area lift and spread, and as I exhale, it kind of lowers, softens. If you didn't have any props, any pillows, a beach towel or a blanket can work. You just kind of roll it up like this. I actually do this at the beach. So whenever I go to the beach, I take a couple towels and I tend to like do restorative yoga. And right there, that does it really nice actually, okay? Again, your arms can go nice and wide for a chest opener. Some people like to keep a hand on their abdomen, their heart. Let's take another 2 to 3 minutes here in a meditation, yogis, relaxing and enjoying the position. If your inner thighs get too tense or uncomfortable, just, slide the legs forward. Each posture, we're relaxing a little deeper, kind of building on the previous state of relaxation. And I want you to remember that everything is a function of memory in the body. Burning fat is a memory pattern of the body. A lot of people, ketosis, right? Burning of fat for energy. If it doesn't happen for 20, 30 years, because there's always glucose in the bloodstream, your body atrophies in the process, right? If you don't use your muscles, they atrophy. If you don't have parasympathetic response, that shift of the brain state doesn't work as well. So we are reprogramming the entire body and the nervous system, the brain, the chemical body, how your body functions. So I want you to think of this as kind of stress management practice. All right, guys, now take your time. If your knees are apart, you can put them together with your hands. Use your core to roll to the side or sit up. And we're basically going to remove our props. If you have a bolster or pillow, put it on the left side of you. And we're going to make our way down to our back. And it's the first time here to just kind of like really feel it out. This is a fantastic restorative thing. Just kind of massaging your lower back. I'm drawing circles with the knees together, if you can see. That's gonna, what we call trace the sacrum, this heart-shaped bone. All these muscles are anchored to it. And I start to just circle it out here. Get a little massage for the body. Another nice option is to draw circles individually. See that? That's a hip circumduction, so the biggest joint is rotating. Just therapeutics for the hip. The hip always bears your weight, so it's really nice to take the weight off and kind of move it freely in case any fascia buildup is happening. One last movement option for me is this windshield wiping here, yogis, where my feet are on the floor now, and I'm just kind of knocking those knees both right and left. So they're all really therapeutic for your hips. All right, guys, so we're going to take a spinal twist stretch now. Now, for today's class, this is kind of classic. You can see I have my bolsters on the left, about high as my hip area, okay? My right knee will come into the chest. Maybe take a moment to squeeze here.
We already did this in child pose, so we won't hold too long. Some days in restorative yoga, we will hold this, good 2 to 3 minutes, but we already did that. So I'll move forward, right knee over the hip. And in restorative yoga classic, you kind of bring your right thigh over onto the bolster. Now I have 2 bolsters stacked. I have like a little minor little strain in my lower back I've been dealing with for about a week here too here. So I'm just being easy. I have the inner right thigh. You got to kind of get comfortable here, right? I have that inner right thigh wrapped around this bolster, and then that right arm reaches out here, okay? And it's a little bit softer variation of a twist you see in a lot of yoga classes. One last adjustment here is to kind of lengthen through my neck and to lengthen that left leg a little bit more forward, okay? So more of a resting twist here. You got to play with the position. Get comfortable. Close your eyes. Go back to your breath work. You're relaxing. This is a little bit shorter of a hold. About 90 seconds more.
And I just wanted to remind you, I know 3 years are on the East Coast, and if you eat right before class, make these twists and compressions really soft. All right, we don't want to have the small intestines and stomach full with food and you're kind of compressing all that area. It's a good way to get a little kind of cramps or irritate your digestive tract. So if you ever eat before, keep the postures easier. So this is our first spinal rotation. All right, as that right knee goes over to the left, my right ribs and shoulder is kind of rolling down to the right. Okay, now when you're ready, guys, let's come back to center. You're just gonna release that leg. If you'd like to throw your bolster on your other side, some of you are choosing it, some aren't. It just depends on how you're feeling. They're both nice. You're gonna bring your left knee to your chest. You might squeeze that knee toward your shoulder right there, right? It's like a colon compression. Here it's your descending colon. And you do partially maybe get a little bit of compression through like like kidney possibly, or even things like pancreas potentially. So again, like if there's food in the digestive tract, be easy. And then eventually you release that squeeze, scoot your hips a little left knee across to the right. If you're using a bolster, inner left thigh, knee, shin on the bolster. You got to kind of lengthen your neck and the bottom right leg. You reach your left arm out. And it's really more of a breathing practice and a relaxing practice than it is a deep stretching practice. Imagine you could teach your body to regenerate, rejuvenate, energize better. Well, you don't have to imagine it because we know you can do that. Now, the question now is, to what limit? Try to, this practice is definitely a test of patience. A lot of times in life, right, the good things do demand that. Maybe taking some breaths into any tightness that's exposed. Or some of these practices don't even worry about breath work. Some days I feel like I want to breathe a lot when I'm doing this. And some days I don't at all. I really just let the lungs relax completely. So right now, this is our 4th week of the restorative practice. You can see we're revisiting a few from the first, second week. We are going to add something new today that we do in other classes. I believe I did forget to mention that we're going to use a strap for some strap stretching tonight. It's a very classic restorative yoga. If you don't have a strap, we're going to do it in a few minutes. We're still going to do one more posture. So, if you don't have a yoga strap, anything that's kind of long, like a beach towel or a pair of sweatpants or even jeans might work. And if not, there's even a way to do it with your hands. Not as easy, but make sure you have something. If not, we'll use your hands. Okay. So listen, guys, let's get out of that twist nice and slow, please.
Take a moment here to lay on your back and neutralize any sensations. Another nice thing to do here, I love to do this. It's not that easy, but it's a type of massage where you literally press through your feet and lift your hips like a 1/4 inch, and then you just let them fall on the floor. It's almost like you're letting your sacrum, as softly as possible, just kind of like slam into the floor. All right. And again, we're just being kind to the body. It's like a little vibrational treatment. Okay. Another thing that might feel good is to just come up and roll your ankles, maybe even roll your wrists, just to get a little blood flow through those joints. Remember, restorative yoga is about as easy as physical yoga gets. All right. Beyond this, we're in yoga nidra. You're laying on your back for the hour. So we do want to keep it calm and slow. All right. We got 2 more postures before we take our strap stretching. So the next posture I'll start to demo. Now there's no props in this one. It's called the banana posture. I want you to think of side bend. We actually did this the first week. So my feet go wide. So my feet are about as wide as my mat, let's say. And I want you to keep your feet as wide as your mat. If it's okay, I want you to bring your arms above your head and try to grab opposite elbows. So it's kind of like this on your back, right? Now you got to listen closely. My hips aren't going to move. My upper body is going to go over to the right a little bit. So you feel like a side bend in your upper body. Now my hips stay where they are. My right foot stays on the right corner of my mat. My left ankle slowly goes over to my right foot. Or if you want more, left ankle atop right foot. Now you got to play with it. It's a big stretch. So I'm on my back in this big kind of side bend. Okay? It's an outer hip, it's a rib cage, and a lower back stretch, and underarm. It's full body. If you're still confused, it looks like this on your back though. Okay? So close your eyes. A good minute more here. It's a big side bend, yogis, on your back. Some of the biggest stabilizer muscles in the body are lateral. So your IT band, your outer hamstring, outer quad. You have the deepest lower back muscle, the QL, the obliques, the lat, the serratus, the psoas. And they all stabilize your body on this lateral plane. So they're like firing all day. Really good to get them a stretch. You see it a lot in the yoga classes. And in this class, we still have to find it as well. Okay, so let's come back to center. Now listen, your feet go mats width distance. If it's okay, we'll cross the opposite forearm on top. So on your back, you're like I am. Your upper body goes over to the second side. And then that second foot inches toward that other foot. So you're like this on your back. See how I'm in a side stretch where my hips are in the middle of my mat? My feet are on the same side as my upper body went over. They call this banana yoga pose. You're like a banana, curved
from the top to bottom. So we try to go for about 1.5 minutes total here, guys. Relax, breathe. Try to notice if you hold any tension in your traps, your shoulders or your face, your abdomen. Try to keep, as you relax, keep noticing these kind of subtle layers of tension you might be holding on a subconscious level. They call that muscle guarding. You're kind of contracting without noticing. That's really how we release some of the deepest tension in our body, by slowing down enough that very subtle tension patterns are exposed. Now take your time, right? Eventually, you kind of come back to center. You give it a little squeeze to kind of neutralize any sensations. There's a lot of that in this class, just kind of subtle feel-good movements. You might want to take Happy Baby. That's where you grab your hamstrings or your ankles, or even your toes or your feet. And you just kind of like feel it out. You know how I say in class, move in ways that make your body feel good? Okay. Now, our final one before we do our biggest stretching of class is the restorative bridge, okay? So you will need a block or a bolster for this. This is where I slide my feet. I'm just demonstrating. Keep going with your Happy Baby. This is it now, guys. Now, remember the first week we did restorative bridge. The second week we did this one. So look at the first week, if I could demonstrate for you guys quick, the first week we did this. We did the traditional bolster or block right under our pelvis. So my hips are not on the ground. The second week, we did this version where the bolster was underneath my back arch, lower back arch, hips just made it to the floor. Or easier is a rolled up blanket. You take a blanket, you roll it up, kind of like a little circular cylinder. The third week, we did a third version, called this one, where I had your butt on it and your lower back arch and your feet on it. I'll let you decide, okay? There is another version or two, but they get more aggressive. So those are the real 3 in restorative yoga. You know, people do the double here where you have another bolster stacked. So it's okay to switch it up, but I want something where those hips are lifted, or at least your lower back is being stretched. I'm going to go back just to first version. Personally, if I was in class, just that nice bolster perpendicular to your mat underneath that feels the best to me right now. Might feel good. If you'd like to go big here, you can slide your legs out, but just notice that, ooh, that bolster slid upward, compressing my lower back. So what do I have to do? I got to kind of crawl or bring that bolster a little lower, okay? I do want you to do something like this here, guys, because we're going to do some nice big stretch and release after this, okay? So notice my hips are being lifted. I'm going to bring my arms wide again. Try to relax into it. Close your eyes. All right, yogis, please take your time. Again, I do teach a little bit more towards a newer practitioner, or let's say somebody with back pain. I just, what you do is you slide your feet in and release your prop, and you just take a neutralizing moment. And if you need to go grab a strap or anything, please do it now, because we're going to do our big stretching. Now, strap stretching in restorative is usually done in a different way than some of the power classes. I would like to demonstrate quick. Now, to do it in the way that they teach in restorative yoga, you need at least like an 8-foot strap. And even then, it might not be long enough for you. So I have my strap in what's called a tension loop. So I did take the strap and I put it underneath this tooth here. See how to lift? It lifts up. You want to go under it and then just pull a couple inches to start and then go back over it. Pull it kind of tight from the bottom loop. Now, I got to show you how to do this so you can do it clearly. Now, you got to be kind of particular here, guys. I have this part of my strap here, the little part that we put through, kind of handy, right? Now, watch what I do. I'm going to do it with my right leg first. So it goes underneath my left armpit and over my right shoulder. So see this here? See how it's like you have like a gym bag or something, or the ladies have a purse. You throw it over your shoulder like that, right? It's that same thing here. Now let me show you quick. Oh, look at my strap's not accurate, so I have to put it on the other way here. Okay, there we go. So I can pull on this strap if I want more tension. So watch what I do. I'm going to lay on my back. I'm going to put the strap around the ball of the foot. Okay. And this is why I said I'm pretty flexible, and this is an 8-foot strap. And if you don't have that, you're just going to basically have to wrap it around your foot like we do often and kind of pull lightly. This is really fantastic release stuff, guys. I don't really teach enough because I don't know if everyone has the straps or and it's really just fundamental. It's really, really big. Watch what I do for a moment. When I have the hands free, I can take my right hand and my right hip crease and kind of, maybe push it out a little bit. I can lengthen my left heel forward. Okay. I'm even engaging my right leg a little bit. Now look, remember how I said I could have this little flat handy? See, this is where I pulled it through. Watch how I tighten. All I have to do is pull on that strap. Look at that. I just got about another 3 inches. Look, I pull right here. So, this stuff is all a learning process, yogi. See the strap here? I pull it tighter. Look at now, it's about 10 inches. And then I found a nice comfort spot here to just be in the position. I feel a pretty good stretch. I could go deeper, but I'm not gonna. Another option, right hand on right thigh, just kind of straightening that knee a little bit more. Now, there are other variations, just because I like to show you guys stuff for your own practice. You see how I put it under my head? Some people like it underneath their neck. That's not my favorite. But some people like wrap it right underneath their head here. You got to be a little bit more flexible. So I can relax here, yogis. If your right leg is up, it's underneath your left armpit. Okay? Not your right armpit. It's over the right shoulder underneath the left armpit. I know, this can be confusing and awkward. No worries, doesn't have to be perfect, guys. Again, I mentioned if you don't have a strap, you do it like this. See how I just straighten my leg to the best of my ability? I take the hands behind the hamstring. When I used to teach the active older adults, people in their 90s, they would have trouble getting the hamstring even. So what you did was take the strap like this, and you just kind of wrap it around the legs. They would be down here. So what I'd have them do is go like this, pull it up behind the knee. You kind of go like this, and I'd say straighten your leg a little bit, right? And we pull here. And that's basically our easiest version, okay?
Now, I'm not going to do both parts just yet. I know some of you are going on your own. I see it. No worries. Do your thing. You guys, a lot of you know this stuff. Okay, so it's underneath my left armpit. Now, what I'm going to do is go slow. I'm going to bring my left leg up. Look, I'm going to throw my right arm underneath. It's underneath my right armpit. I'm going to put my left foot in and bring it over my left shoulder. So I switch strap sides for my bag. Now, the tricky part is this thing here, the strap, okay? There's a certain term for this, slipping my mind right now, but the part of the strap where you can tighten it if you need it, okay? But it's quite simple. It's right here on the inside now, okay? Close your eyes. Now, I think I've explained enough. I tend to over-explain stuff, and just try to find something where you can stretch your hamstring here. Don't worry, we're gonna do the next part, okay? I'll do those two together next. Close your eyes if you can and breathe. All right, guys, so that's our first hamstring of 3. That's the middle hamstring. We have an outer and inner. I mentioned one of them earlier. So what we're gonna do is just switch sides again. So if you'd like the quick demo, the visual helps people, and then you can just kind of go into it. So again, look, strap around right foot, underneath left armpit, over right shoulder. Now watch, I'm gonna try to release that leg. And you gotta kind of, guide your strap. So what happens is, just like we do here, as I open the foot, now I do it here. So I don't even need my hands, look. I start to, I might have to let the strap pull so it doesn't irritate my skin. Now the leg is opening up to the side. I actually like this version a lot more than the pulling version. So if I could show you from this angle, guys, the first part had you here. Watch. I forgot to mention blocks and bolsters, but since you're not using your hand to pull, watch, I can just guide my right hand with my leg. It can be down the thigh, it could be up near the knee, okay? And this is exactly why we don't want it over the left shoulder here. We want it underneath the left armpit so you can see me here. If it was overneath, it'd be pulling on my neck here, okay? Does everyone kind of get it? Am I confusing everyone? This is tough to see over Zoom sometimes. If I was in person, I'd come over and check on you and help you. I know they make the 10-foot straps now for everyone to do this. You can see I have 2 straps. One is 6 and one is 8. I don't have a 10-foot strap, I don't think. And it's a good $10 investment, though. You can just relax and the strap stretching. Now we're going to do the third part. That's our inner hamstring, the membranosus. So you're here with your foot out to the right. You want to take that right foot back to the ceiling. Now here's where it gets a little complicated. Not really. You just have to keep the strap around your right foot. There's a few of you I see you're just pulling. You're bringing the leg across. But look. I can't keep it around my upper right shoulder because it's going to, pull on my neck. Watch what I do. I switch arms. Right arm in and under, left arm under. So now your pocketbook strap is over your left shoulder, and I'm going to take that foot across. Now, you can see it's now under my right armpit because that's where that tension pull is. Take your time. You bring that leg over to the left a little bit. And you pause, you go a little bit more. We did a warm-up twist for this now. My left hand can guide my left leg. See how it's underneath? See this? I'm going a little further. You can go all the way, but it's a big stretch, guys. You can put your leg on a bolster. Just make sure the strap, is not pulling on the neck itself. It can wrap around the neck here if you don't place it right, okay? I can't really see anybody, so I'll have to, hopefully I explained it okay. And, this is why we haven't done it yet, but it really is fantastic if you can find it and experiment and explore a little bit and try to remember, you guys are all regulars and you guys see I record these classes. I'm not recording you, it's just the class. And I kind of have a private library on YouTube, about 100 and some classes. And if you ever want a class, don't be shy. You reach out to me and, I can give you a link to get to a class that you want, if you want restorative or gentle or, a strengthening class. You let me know, okay? Don't be shy. Sometimes you need to go over this stuff a couple times to really get it, okay? Now listen, take the strap back to the sky, and if you need to release your leg, you're gonna shake it out a little bit. And then we wanna do our left foot. Now you can see this takes a long time to kind of explain and do. The left foot goes in the strap. It's gonna start underneath your right armpit. So left foot is going to eventually be in that strap. It's going to open to the left, okay? So that's that inner hamstring. You get gracilis, semimembranosus. That's that common thing people get back here. It's your inner thigh and hamstring to the back of the knee here. It's very common that people get a lot of very tight fascia and connective tissue in the knee can get very restricted. And where does that? That's the inside of the knee. A lot of people, that's pes anserinus, right? So you get that kind of you can get pain in the knee here from connective tension. So just in case anyone needs a demo, I will show one last time. It starts here, underneath right armpit, left foot, and it goes open to the left. See that? So I'm here. Wow, that's a good stretch. And just since I remembered, guys, if you're ever looking to get yoga props, they can be seriously overpriced, silly. People want $30 for a strap, right? And there's this company called Manduka. Both of my bolsters you see, they're different bolsters by them, Manduka. Let me see if you can see the Manduka. Huh? And both of my straps, both of my bolsters, the Maduka has these warehouse sales where everything is dirt cheap. They get rid of all their old stuff. I went to one, I drove maybe 40 minutes from the beach here, and their warehouse, their mats were $10, their straps were $5, their bolsters were $10. And just keep a lookout. Go to manduka.com and look. Let's do our final side. If you haven't, remember that you do have to switch shoulders. So we started here, the legs back in center, and you have to go right arm under. And it has to be underneath your left armpit now, guys. So it's kind of like the opposite. And then I bring that left leg across to the right, okay? So it looks like this here. It's that big final stretch. Now, a lot of people wouldn't really teach this in restorative yoga, but there's many ways to restore, guys. In this class, we are going to do gentle practices. A lot of yous, Pamela and Sherry, Stephanie, you guys all know my gentle yoga style, where we had a little bit more movements and even some standing stuff.
I am going to mix that into this class since Wednesdays. I had to stop that gentle yoga, which I'm sad about. It's my favorite style of yoga. I think maybe next week we'll do that. And just a reminder, a nice little half-hour workshop I'm doing on Sunday this week is foot therapy. So we're going to break down, it's a half hour, foot rehab and conditioning. So we're going to do some really nice physical therapeutics for the arch, for the toes, for the ankle balancing, strength and opening. So last week we did the wrists, and this week we'll do the feet. And I think the next week after that, we're going to do posture. So every Sunday now, 10:30 to 11, we're doing a nice little specialty micro workshop, just kind of looking at some stuff we don't do in yoga enough that are really powerful for just kind of making us feel good, okay? Let's finish that up when you're done. Let's come back to center. And really nice job. I hope you enjoyed that and you got something out of it there. Hard to see you guys there. Most of you is pretty dark, or I can't really see your body anyway. So listen, guys, it's already about 5:55. So class went pretty fast. Was hoping to do a couple more things, particularly in the shoulders. So how about I give you another like 2 minutes to do one more posture? A really nice stretch could be like a shoulder compression. Remember this from some of the classes where we roll into our left, reach my right arm up? I love this one because it gets the hand, the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, the shoulder, even part of like the trap and the chest. I'm just laying on my back like this. Compression. You take a minute per side. That's a nice way to end class. Another nice way to end class could be just like knocking your knees together, putting a bolster underneath your head, extending our meditation. Another nice option could be even something slightly active, the bridge work, pelvic tilts. Remember the first week we did a lot of detailed pelvic tilting here. I arch my back, I round the core, okay? So you can see this, I hover my pelvis, I hover my lower back. That is very good for you, okay? It's in the postural class. But if there's one last, stretch you want to do, a figure four like this is a crowd favorite usually. And if you're doing one-sided something, maybe think about switching sides. I know a lot of you were attending the Wednesday evening, and I, was forced to kind of switch it up to one class. And what I've been doing is a rotating style. In the last 2 weeks, we did what's called yoga sculpt. It's like holding like a nice easy lunge, and you just take 5 or 1 pound weights, do a little like lightweight training in some of these kind of fundamental yoga poses. So it was really fun and good. And then next week, I'm going to do what's called the fast twitch practice. 5:30 to 6:30. It's totally for beginners. It's a really different style of doing a wellness practice. A lot of times yoga is very, very slow. And it is good if we, in a safe, fun, purposeful way, move the body a little bit faster. Think like something like punching in place. Like there's like only half the class is going to be fast twitch, but next Wednesday is going to be a nice little special class where we look at what's called fast twitch muscle fibers. And it really can spur a lot of strength in your body. Sometimes it's good to move that body, think of like jogging in place, making it a meditation, what the yogis call dynamic meditations. Some people call like jogging a meditation. It's kind of that same principle. We move a little bit faster, but we're still mindful, working with the body and studying the self, okay? So nice job there with our final pose. Listen, guys, let's take our final comfortable position. And to close practice, usually it's Shavasana, a complete restorative position, not much physical stimulation. So if you can, let's lay on our back here. Close your eyes. Get pretty comfortable. Just going to go 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. But I do want you to commit, really make that kind of inner declaration or resolution. I'm not going to move for 2 to 3 minutes. I'm really going to let my bones get heavy. Okay. You can take another breath or two if you'd like, kind of sighing into the relaxation. And then just let your body rest, guys. Nice job tonight. Final pose.